have a picture of it somewhere with the kittens in it that we had at the time, and the mother cat wasn't too happy about it.
What was the favorite toy you ever got, other than that? Or maybe that was it.
I didn't get a lot of. That was probably the best. I was the youngest of four. I got more hand-me-downs than anything good. But probably my 5-speed Columbia Stingray, which I still own, that I got on my 10th birthday.
And you still have it.
I gave it to my nephews. They gave it back to me, and my nephew had it sort of fixed, but as good as it could be. But I have the bike back.
Did you ever find a chain guard for it?
I never found the chain guard. I do have the correct razor fenders.
Do you have it hanging up somewhere?
What, the bike?
Yeah.
No, it's in my garage at home. I got to bring it here. It was at my daughter's house. So my nephew shows up. He's on his way to New Hampshire with his family, and I happen to be at my daughter's house and I think he knew that. And he comes. He says he had a big trailer he was pulling with stuff, and he says, "Come out here." And I says, "What's going on?" He says, "Just come out here." All right. So I walk out, and there's the trailer. And I goes, "You got my bike." I knew it. I knew he had my bike. I don't know how I knew, but I just knew it.
No, that's cool.
It is. So anyway, that's all I have to say today. And hopefully I'll see you tonight.
Okay.
All right, we'll be there.
We'll be doing some shaving cream.
Perfect. And just remember, I can't sing, and I admit it.
Yeah, I know.
You'll be in good company.
Are we going to sing a duet, Gary?
No.
Do a solo.
I'll be a silent
Yeah,
partner.
he'll sing solo. You can't hear him.
Exactly.
All right.
Sing far, far
Thank
away.
you. Bye, everybody.
All right.
See you tonight, Steve.
Good morning. To my speaking.
Good morning, guys. Dick, North Providence. How are you today?
Dave.
Good morning, Dave.
Good morning. So, good songs. I have heard...
Wait, whoa, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. You can't say those were good songs. They just happen to be the songs we had in the system.
Well, they're good songs for their topics.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Roger Miller today.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one.
Well,
I
because
do like the Four Seasons.
you're younger than me, but when I was actually, much younger, when back in the 50s, the toy train sets were was
Lionel?
like the quintessential
Lionel.
gift. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm talking the real heavy steel trains.
Yep.
With the coal cars and the whole, and everything else, and the trees and the light and the telephone poles and the shrubberies and the steel tracks and the transformers. That they were so cool. They were so cool.
There's a really cool YouTube infomercial back in the day with Jack Barry and Joe DiMaggio promoting Lionel trains. If you get a chance to look it up sometime.
I'm going to have to check that out. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I just happened to see it the other day, as a matter of fact. It's pretty cool.
But everything in the 60s got cheap and just didn't compare.
Got plastic.
Well, it's funny that you say that because one of the first toys that really had huge success was Mr. Machine. And it was a huge success for Ideal because they were actually, they could use plastic. And they would manufacture plastic for the first time into a toy. And it allowed it to get down to a price point that they could make a toy for. I don't know what the retail was, but it was affordable retail, and it became if you remember Mr. Machine,
I don't know.
It was a robot that you basically put together with
Clear plastic.
Exactly.
You could see the gears.
Exactly, and it would ring a bell.
Yep.
And it was a huge success for Ideal Toy, and actually put them on the map.
Help
put them on the map.
The wind-up motor you could never bend or break.
Right. Right. You didn't have one of those, did you, Dave?
No, I didn't. No, but I remember the videos, and it had a great little jingle too. That was a Marvin Glass project, right?
Mr. Machine. It was something along those lines.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of these commercials are on YouTube, and they're great to watch.
They're great jingles.
Absolutely. So, my favorite toy I had when I was a kid, as much as I loved G.I. Joe, one of my cousins gave me this figure by Marx called Mike Hazard's Secret Agent. And I had it as a kid, and I lost pieces back and forth. But Kevin England at Hasbro actually sold me one that was complete in box, untapped. Nothing was taken off the screws when I was working there, so I got it back again. But Mike Hazard was a cool toy because he had different disguises you could put on him. He had different kind of weapons. But the coolest things he had a briefcase and a doctor's bag that you put a cap in it. It had a little trigger, and when you threw it, the cap would explode and would explode the bag, and a little puff of smoke would come outside out of it.
I don't remember that one. Who made it?
Yeah, Mark's.
Oh, you did say that, yeah. Mark's Toys.
Yeah, Mark. It's called Mike Hazard Secret Agent. He had his clothes molded onto him,
Don't
but he had
remember
a trench coat, a hat.
I don't remember.
Had all kinds of disguises and stuff. Yeah, it's a great little toy. Great little toy.
Mark's was also famous for the Big Wheel. That was one of their big
Yeah.
ride-on toys, which
Yeah.
every kid I
They
think
did
had
the
in the
Johnny
70s.
Quest as well too.
Johnny Quest,
Which
yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
all those. But they did Tony Smith to compete with G.I. Joe. But my least favorite toy was a thing called Play School Play Tiles, which was like, I got it for Christmas one year, and I was like, what the heck is this? It's just basically like Legos that you made pictures out of, and I hated it. But the toy I really, really wanted when I was a kid was a toy by Ideal called Robot Commando,
Yep.
which was a remote control toy that flung plastic balls. You used to speak into it, it would turn, and the vibrations of your voice would make it turn or do whatever. It was shooting missiles. That's one of the best toy commercials I've ever seen. If you can find it on YouTube, Robot Commando. It's tremendous. That's something I always wanted. And I got it later in life, and I ended up trading it away. But I'd like to get one again someday. But fantastic toy.
I'm going to have to check those commercials out.
Yeah, you'll love Robot Commando. It has like taking over a town with these giant cardboard buildings and stuff, and like they set up army men and stuff against them.
It's funny that you bring up commercials, too, for toys, because back in the day, the 50s and 60s, toy commercials ran for a minute.
Yeah, and
Easily
a
a minute.
And they were great.
And they were good commercials. I actually had the pleasure of, when I first joined Hasbro, shooting commercials. We used to go to Vancouver to shoot toy commercials. So I was called a toy doctor, because every toy you see on a commercial is not the production. It's actually a model.
Yeah.
And they're $30,000, $40,000 models. And we were sent there to take care of them. You had 4 or 5 models, and you repair them, paint them, glue them back together. I mean, even those commercials were 30 seconds. But back in the day, a toy commercial was easily a minute. You know, and it was...
And it actually advertised the product.
Exactly right. They'd
Yeah.
say, hey, kids,
It
tell
showed
your mom.
It showed you everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Tim, I have a great little memory from Hasbro. They pulled me out of office services to work with Bill Marley and Dan Martin when they promoting the USS Flag, and we wheeled it out on these 2 dollies. Myself, Bill, and Dan, with Larry Bernstein.
Oh, Larry.
And the look at the big smile on Larry's face and the smiles on the buyers was amazing.
Yep.
Seeing this huge 4-foot, 5-foot aircraft carrier
Oh, yeah.
on this dolly. That's a memory I'll never forget.
And that was
amazing.
back, Kirk Bazigian was in charge of
Yep.
G.I. Joe, and he's the one who brought back G.I. Joe in
Yep.
grand fashion, too. I mean, it saved the company, to
You
be
mean the
honest with you.
doll?
Yeah.
It was not a doll. It was an action figure, and
Yeah,
always will
right,
be an
right,
action
right.
figure with 7 points of articulation. Maybe 9. I don't remember how many points of articulation. But, those were good days. And I'm glad you
Yeah,
remember that. And that aircraft carrier, how cool is that
Yeah.
thing?
That thing was amazing. With
Yep.
the speaker, the all hands on deck, and you could put the giant jet on it, and it was just so much fun. Those days were great, Tim, and I'd never forget those days.
Yeah, me neither. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good memory.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have yourself a great
Okay.
day, and have a great toy show. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
ON Radio. Kafin Oil believes in service. Whether you need an automatic oil delivery, servicing, or a late-night emergency repair, Kafin Oil will be there. Kafin Oil installs gas and oil burners, too, water heaters, and central air conditioning systems. Stay comfortable year-round with the Kafin Oil team of professionals. Kafin Oil of Woonsocket, 765-3881. Keep that number handy, 765-3881.
Hi, this is Steve Peluso, owner of Peluso Precision Automotive in Mendon. Since 2017, Peluso Precision Automotive has been your destination for auto care, transmissions, and general classic car repair. I've had a passion for classic cars since I was born, and I started hanging around a gas station when I was 7 years old. Plus, I have more than 40 years of experience repairing the classics. So if you have a 53 Bel Air, or a 67 Mustang, or a 71 Dodge, and it needs servicing, bring it to Peluso Precision Automotive, 93 Blackstone Street in Mendon. Peluso Precision Automotive is your vintage car specialist, so give us a call at 508-478-8900. And remember the number, it's 508-478-8900.
Are you ready to unleash your creativity and connect with nature? Welcome to the Honey Shop Academy, where discovery meets delight. The Honey Shop Academy is in the same building as the famous Honey Shop store on Park Avenue, next door to Navigant Credit Union, and they offer a variety of exciting programs and private classes, perfect for groups of 10 to 15 people. And whether you're looking for a fun night out, or a unique team building experience, they've got something for you at the Honey Shop Academy. Join us for unforgettable paint nights where you can sip on your favorite beverage and let your inner artist shine, or unwind in our serene meditation and sound baths, perfect for rejuvenating your mind and spirit. Experience the joy of learning together at the Honey Shop Academy on Park Avenue in Woonsocket, where every class is sweet and every moment is memorable.
All right, and we're back. So, my brother is 7. My oldest brother is 7. My older brother, I should say, is 7 years older than and for the first 7 years of his life, he was an only child, and he was just spoiled rotten when it came to toys. He had anything he wanted, he ended up getting, and the things I remember most, because now it would be like 10 years later before I, would actually be able to play with this stuff. Skylab. You remember Skylab? No, that was pretty cool. But mostly it was toy soldiers, army stuff, and the weapons thereof. Rocket launchers, and of course, we had our toy guns as well with the Greenie Stickum caps and the plastic bullets that we used to shoot the opposing armies with. And he'd lay this out. It would take up the entire room, and remote control tanks. The Bulldog tank, I think, was one of them. It was just so much. He put so much effort into this one, and he always did this in his whole life, and it was just so much fun. But it wasn't a toy, but the best present I ever got when I was a kid was my .22 rifle when I was 12.
Yep. Can you go shooting squirrels with it?
Things got real then.
Yeah. No more fruitcakes.
My mother was opposed to it, but my father said no. He's 12 years old. He's old enough to have a .22. It was a single shot bolt action. It was
Yeah, but still, you taught you gun safety.
Yeah, well, nobody ever taught me gun safety, but I knew.
Obviously, you learned it because you're still here.
I knew better not to shoot anybody. Because bullets hurt. I never had a BB gun. They thought BB guns were too dangerous.
Well, because you would shoot other people with a BB gun. We did that as kids.
You were too casual with a BB gun.
Exactly.
You took a .22. That was the discussion they actually had. The .22 was more serious, and you would take it seriously. But I got BB guns and pellet guns later when I was an adult. I love them because they're so much. Well, because you can shoot them in your backyard, and nobody calls the police on you.
No, my grandkids both have BB guns, and they're learning how to shoot.
Yeah.
I want them to learn. I want them to be safe with it. I want them to respect weapons, and their father's a great influence on them for that. So it all works out.
Yeah, it's all about parenting.
So I do have a commonality question for you in the toy world, and I know some people may know this, but let's see who does. I'm going to name 4 toys that were in the 60s and 70s. What's the commonality between these 4 toys? Inchworm, Lite-Brite, Mr. Machine, which we were talking about earlier, and the Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle. What do those 4 toys have in common? And
they Mattel?
No,
they weren't.
No. Actually, I don't think any of these were Mattel. Mr. Machine was Ideal, Lite-Brite was Hasbro, Inchworm was Hasbro, and Evel Knievel. I think that might have been Marx or Ideal. I don't remember which one that was. But those 4 toys have something in common. And the other thing I posted the other day, and I don't know if anybody saw it. I know people saw it because they commented. It was Flubber. And if you remember the movie...
Oh, yeah. I love the movie. Fred MacMurray.
Absent-minded professor.
Yeah.
He creates Flubber. Hasbro got the rights to manufacture Flubber. So they had to invent something that was Flubber. And they did, and they shipped it, and it was what we call a clamshell packaging. So it was on a J-hook, so it was a item that would hook on at retail on the hook, but you could see it in the clamshell, in the clear plastic. It started eating through the plastic.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Kids were getting rashes, sore throats. So Hasbro had to recall it. They pulled it off the shelves immediately. And at the time, Hasbro was located in Central Falls on Broad Street. They brought it back to Broad Street, and they didn't know what to do with it. And what do you do with Flubber? That's no good. I don't know what you do with good Flubber, but with bad Flubber, it's even worse. They threw it into their incinerator, and it let out black smoke that covered Central Falls. Central Falls authorities came down and said, "What are you doing?" They said, "We're burning flubber." They said, "Stop."
Yeah.
So they stopped. They then brought it out to Narragansett Bay and dumped it in the bay.
Oh, jeez.
God.
Flubber floats. They went back out to Narragansett Bay and picked it back up. Now, I know a few people know where the flubber ended up. If you do know where flubber ended up, and it is still in Rhode Island somewhere, call us 401-766-1240. Let
it's-
us know where the flubber is.
I think it's flying over New Jersey right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Another toy just came to mind. You mentioned flubber, so probably a similar substance was the
Silly putty?
the mold where you made your
Play-Doh?
Spiders and stuff, and
Well, you had a number of different items. You had Shrinky Dinks. You had Creepy Creations, I think it was one.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't
But there was Silly Putty, and if you remember Silly Putty...
This wasn't silly putty.
Okay.
This was, the plasticky substance you put in a mold. You press down on it, and it heated up for a few seconds, and then it came out solid. And
I think those were Shrinky Dinks.
it doesn't sound like the right name though.
Yeah, but there were a number of items.
Somebody's
There was
gonna-
Shaker Maker.
Somebody's gonna remember these.
All right, let's
It's
see.
Creepy
Creepy
crawlies.
crawlers.
Yeah.
Creepy
maybe,
crawlers.
Maybe that was it.
Yep.
Creepy crawlies. Good morning. To who am I speaking?
Hi, guys. This is Mike from Cumberland.
Hey, Mike.
Mike.
Hey, my vote is for Eddie's song, that Frankie Valli song. I think that would be the song to pick today for me.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for falsetto. Anything that's got falsetto, it gets my attention.
All right, well, you
I don't know
got it.
if you guys remember the Sears catalog. Sears
Oh, of
had
course.
Like a phone book type catalog, and that thing had tremendous toys in it: electric guitars, bicycles, clothing, you name it. It had everything in it. You remember the Sears catalog?
Oh, of course.
course.
Do you remember, now, did you get the Sears catalog and go through the toy section and check off the toys you wanted?
That was, yeah, constant.
Yeah. Now,
I
that,
would spend hours flipping through the pages of that. And I do believe the flubber was buried somewhere in Pawtucket near McCoy Station.
you're in the ballpark. You're 100% right.
In the ballpark. That's funny.
In the ballpark, they have
Yes,
McCoy.
Very good. Very
It's
good.
actually across the street at Delta Drive at the old Hasbro warehouse, buried under the new
And
pavement.
also, I had an aunt that was employed at the Broad Street location, so I had tons of G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe toys and all the clothing, all the various products, the Jeep.
So you had the original G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
The
but
12-inch.
That was when Hasbro was on Broad Street, CF.
Yep, correct.
All right, guys, have a good day.
All right, Mike, thanks.
Thank you.
Didn't they put in the movie Flubber? Didn't they put it on a basketball or football or something?
Yeah, I believe it was on his shoes, and I'd have to go back and watch the
yeah, it was
movie.
definitely on the shoes. Yeah.
Because they remade that movie with Robin Williams just back in the 90s.
No, you don't remake that kind of movie.
No.
No. With all due respect to Robin Williams.
Yep.
Good morning. To who am I speaking?
Paul from Pawtucket.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Oh, the other guy stole my thunder there with Delta Drive.
Yeah. He was close.
Tim, did they build on top of it, or is it in the parking lot?
I believe if you're on Delta Drive facing the building, it's to the right-hand side corner. But in the parking lot, they paved over it.
Yeah, okay.
That location may not be 100% accurate, but the only reason I know that is my father, who was with Hasbro for 45 years, after he retired and they were selling that building, they called him to ask him, hey, where did we bury that stuff? Because they had to do site tests. So
yeah.
he told them where it was buried.
So they didn't dig it up? I mean, aren't they responsible for it?
I don't know. It was Mineral Spirits, I believe, but I don't know what they did.
Yeah. One of my tasks when I was working there, I'd have to take a security guard around. It was about 8 o'clock at night, and we'd have to, do like the four corners of the building.
Yeah.
I used to use one of those Cushman, those electric Cushmans to take them around.
Yep.
It was fun because we had the warehouse to ourselves. We could go like a bat out of hell on the Cushman and hit all the security spots.
Yeah, I remember as a kid we used to race those around there.
Oh yeah.
I was with the electricians racing them.
I'm going to go with Roger Miller. I like Roger Miller. Always liked Roger Miller. He had a way with words in his songs. I looked him up. I guess he passed away in '92.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old was
That's
he?
it. Oh, I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I don't think he was that old. But Tim, I don't know if you know, but him and a couple other people were responsible for finding the country singer's plane crash there, Patsy Cline.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the plane didn't have instruments, so the guy wasn't qualified to fly instruments. And naturally, they hit the treetops, not far from Nashville. He went up into one of those fire stations, the big tall ones, fire lookout, I guess.
Okay.
And they saw a big clearance in the woods, and they headed that way, and there was the plane with Patsy Cline and her pilot.
Ugh.
There's pictures of that at the Patsy Cline Museum in Nashville. It's on the top floor of the Johnny Cash Museum in Nashville.
Which I went to the Johnny Cash Museum, which was phenomenal. I did not realize there was a Patsy Cline one above it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Great stuff. Okay, with that, I'm going to sign off.
All right.
All right.
We have to go to a break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street in Woonsocket. This is ON AM and FM.
WOON Woonsocket.
Here's an idea to make Christmas even more special. Why not go out for breakfast? But who's open? I'll tell you. Missy's Family Restaurant, Clinton Street in Woonsocket, is open on Christmas Day from 6 a.m. to noon. They'll be serving breakfast items only. Eggs, pancakes, French toast, waffles, plus more. It's a perfect way to begin Christmas. Come to Missy's Family Restaurant, 801 Clinton Street, Woonsocket, for a wonderful homemade breakfast. Merry Christmas from Judy and the staff at Missy's Family Restaurant.
This ON AM and FM radio weather forecast is being brought to you by Bourget and Associates Incorporated. We're a nationwide provider of a wide variety of due diligence and business financial consulting services. Visit our website, bourgetgroup.com. Increasing clouds today with a high near 40 degrees and a diminished west wind up to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies, overnight low of 21. Friday's weather, sunshine and 32 with a breeze from the west. Saturday, sunshine and 34. Sunday, partly sunny skies with a high of 37 and calm wind. Monday, 40% chance of snow in the morning, then a chance of rain during the day. Mostly cloudy skies, high of 45 eventually. Monday night, chance of rain is 40%, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 36. Tuesday, 60% chance of rain likely, mostly cloudy and 55 degrees. Tuesday night, 60% chance of rain continuing, mostly cloudy and 35. And on Wednesday, it'll be a mostly sunny day with a high of 45.
Imperial Car's year-end doorbuster clearance event is going on now. Don't miss huge discounts across our entire inventory of over 2,000 new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. We have something for every budget. Take advantage of savings up to 15% off MSRP, 0 down leases, and interest rates as low as 0% for 72 months. Plus, purchase now and get no payments for up to 3 months. Click ImperialCars.com or stop on by. Just look for the car in the sky.
All right, we're back, and good morning. To whom am I speaking?
Good morning. Again, Roger Miller died in 1992, like Paul from Pawtucket said. He was 56 years old, and he died from lung cancer.
Wow, that's young.
Just cancer, it says. Doesn't say lung.
Wow, that is young.
Yeah, it's very young, because I'm going to be 67 in a few months. So, yeah. My favorite toy you were talking about, something I forgot I even had, was my Fright Factory.
You built the 6-foot Frankenstein.
No, it was a little like oven thing, and you put this goo in there, and it heated up, and it made like little
creepy crawlies
things.
Okay, I don't.
Yeah, like creepy crawlers type of thing.
Yeah.
I probably got around 70, 71.
All right. Do you know who made it?
I think it was a Mattel Fright Factory.
All right. Fright Factory. I thought you said Frank. Fright.
Fright.
All right.
You remember that?
No. But I do remember there was like a 6-foot, maybe even 4-foot Frankenstein thing that you would build, but I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it was by Mattel because I just looked it up, and you can buy it used on eBay for $78, and it gave you like molds, and it gave you different colors of stuff, and you put it in there, and it heated up, and it said it had a vacuum form heating unit or something.
So I brought on a bunch of old toy catalogs that I had from the 60s, 70s, 80s. They might even be one in here from the 90s. But Eddie was just looking at them, and he pointed out, and I forgot all about this, Charlie's Angels. Now, Steve, did you have Charlie's Angels playset?
No.
No?
I was too old for that. I only wanted cars.
Well, they had a car for Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, but she had that Mustang too, so that wasn't something that I was interested in. You know, what year did Charlie's Angels come out?
This was 77. Well, the toys came out. Yeah.
I was 19. I wasn't interested in that.
And I don't blame you.
So yesterday when we were having lunch at George's, I asked the Bridge Club what their favorite toys were. They were, as usual, they weren't very forthcoming, but Emily did say that it was dolls for the most part, but her favorite present that she ever got was a record player.
Yeah, because that was a big thing.
Of course. Yeah,
We take that stuff for granted.
Her first record was "Rock Around the Clock."
By Bill Haley and the Comets. Was that 1955?
Yep.
56.
So
Right
she was
around
like
there.
14 in 1955, because I think she was born in 41, which was a good year for Cadillac.
If you say so.
I do say so.
I know you
And
do.
it was the first Cadillac that had a hydromatic transmission, which came out in 1940, which was used in the Oldsmobile. Okay, enough of that. You got more calls to take, I'm sure.
I do. Just go away.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later,
Good
Steve.
morning. To who am I speaking?
Good morning, everyone. It's Louise.
Hey, Louise.
Hi, Louise.
Laughing to myself based on your last retort to Steve. First, my vote. This is a first, I think, on this program. I had never heard either song before, but I'm voting for Roger Miller, Toy Train.
Yeah.
I liked the timbre of his voice, and although I always kind of liked Frankie Valli. They were always in my B group in terms of favorites, not in the A group. But quite honestly, at the beginning of that song, I know they're known for falsetto and their harmonies, but at the beginning of the song, I thought they were having pitch problems. It's just me.
Could have been the recording as well. So.
Well, could be that.
I agree with you though. I did hear it myself. So.
I'm like, what? Usually the harmonies are spot on, but not at the beginning, and maybe it was the intent of the songwriter. I don't know, but let's move on, shall we?
Yes.
I realized as I was starting to prepare for the show that I could probably do a whole show with just the toys I still have stored in my spare room. Does anybody remember tiles? They were not the kind described by someone earlier. I don't know if it was Dave from North Providence, but these were plain tiles. They came in a box, and you got a pegboard with it, and the pegboard was maybe 10 inches wide by 20 inches long, and it was made out of a piece of masonite. And the tiles were different shapes, rectangular, square, or triangular. And the whole idea, it was like 2D Lego, two-dimensional Lego, and you could make images by putting the tiles onto the pegboard. And I remember our version had Sleeping Beauty on the cover, and you could try to replicate her castle by making the image of her castle with the tiles. That was a favorite of mine. But when Lego came out, I wanted that in the worst way, Lego. But, my mother didn't think it was appropriate for a young lady to have as a toy. And it's like, looking back, it's like, I could have been an engineer.
So, Louise, you still have all these toys?
I still have the tiles, yes.
Oh, just the tiles. Because I was going to say, this could be like an episode of Seinfeld when they went over to the woman's house and she had all the old toys. I'm sure Dave A would be over there in a heartbeat.
Well, I have this huge wooden box. My father was in construction at one point in his career of many different jobs, and he came home with this giant wooden box, and it became our, quote, toy box. And, you know, I realized at a young age that these would be valuable someday. So I can't place in my head where the pegboards are, but I know I have the tiles in an old tin. I still have Tinker Toys that were passed down to me from my mother.
Tinker Toys.
The wooden Tinker Toys, not the plastic ones. The original wooden Tinker Toys. I still have those. When my sister was young, in the mid-'60s, she wanted the Barbie fashion shop in the worst way. I ended up with the Barbie Dream House, which was self-contained. It was all made out of cardboard, but it folded up and you could carry it away conveniently with a handle. My sister wanted the Barbie fashion shop. When she moved to Florida, I tried to give it back to her. She wouldn't take it. And the thing's probably worth half a fortune now, and it's in reasonably good shape. And it's a pain in the neck to store because you have to store the different pieces. But again, that's in my spare room. And one of these days, when I'm just going to learn how to use PayPal and eBay, and I'll unload it. And if you have someone who'd be interested, please let me know.
Oh, there's a lot of people out there. Most people want everything in an original packaging for it to be worth anything, but they're still looking for toys that are used, old toys, especially old toys that they've only went into production for a limited time.
Well, and thank you for mentioning Tinker Toys, because I think every kid had Tinker Toys or Lincoln Logs and a Erector set. Yes. Erector set,
small electric motor.
Yeah.
Erector sets came in a really nice metal box.
Yep.
My cousin had that. I was never allowed to play with that.
Well, you could never sell them today because they had the tiny little nuts and bolts to hold everything together.
But they taught kids. That was used.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they did. I mean, there was motors. You had a.
Nobody teaches kids anything anymore.
Well, but kids taught themselves too.
Yeah, you plug it, put in a couple of batteries, and it talks to you, and it does everything for you. And kids don't know how to think for themselves or engage in imaginative play. Because once we got tired of building things with the Tinker Toys, we used the red 6-inch sticks as spaghetti when we played restaurant.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Lego is such a good toy. It's a quality toy. It's well made. Expensive because of how well it's made and the steel they have to use to make it, but it allows a kid to use their imagination and just complete build, and they'll get lost in that. They'll stay at that table for hours playing Lego.
To an extent. With the classic Lego, yes, I would agree. But I get upset with some of these kits because, again, everything is all laid out for you. Here, you want this Harry Potter thing? Do you want this Barbie thing? All the pieces are here. You don't have to think of how to make it.
No, but they still
self-contained.
They still have to follow the directions and build it to the schematic that's provided. So there is still some learning going on. I agree with you. It doesn't encourage as much as in the imagination, but it's not a bad thing.
When Legos first came out, you could only build houses.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all it was. They had windows and doors and.
Well, and I remember the windows. They were always red, and they had a piece of plastic for the glass. And the doors were always red, and they had a piece of plastic. And but to your point, Tim, I agree. Yes, learning how to follow directions is something that will carry them into adulthood if they ever have to deal with IKEA.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But one of my
both Swedish companies too.
And I'm going to take a stab at the trivia, the commonality. I'm wondering if all of these 4 products were subject to recall.
No, I don't think any of those had a recall.
Oh, okay.
No, but good guess.
And lastly, one of my favorite toys when I was a kid, because we couldn't afford expensive things, Viewmasters.
Yeah.
And I remember going into Sears, and then at one point they were GAF Viewmasters, and Henry Fonda did the commercial on TV. But I remember walking into Sears on North Main in Providence, and they always had a little kiosk made out of cardboard, and they would have hundreds of Viewmasters on display, and every year I would give my mother a list of the ones I wanted, and they were all cartoons. Popeye, Mighty Mouse, you name it, but I always got the Library of Congress, Washington, D.C.,
Niagara Falls.
Slowly I turn.
But that served me well, too, because I can remember going to Washington, D.C. as an adult. I was at a conference, and I stayed over a couple of days, and I took the metro, and I went to the Library of Congress. Was my first stop on my own, self-guided tour of Washington, D.C., and I walked into the hallway, and I saw an image that I recalled from my Viewmasters, and I literally started to cry, and I thought, I can't believe I'm here seeing these things in person. And thanks, Mom, for the Viewmasters. And with that, I'll let you take another call.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Louise.
Thanks, Louise. Good morning. To whom am I speaking?
Good morning. Do you remember crew?
Good morning, Moose.
Yes, just popped in and been waiting on the line here for a while, but I missed the first 20 minutes of the show, so I don't know what the songs are. Could you tell them to me?
Old Toy Trains by Roger Miller and Toy Soldiers by the Four Seasons.
Old Toy Trains by Roger Miller?
Yep.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Well, Moose joined the company because we had never heard it either, but it was actually a pretty good song.
And Toy Soldiers by the Four Seasons.
Yep.
Another one that's kind of a rarity.
Yeah,
it's a reason it's a rarity.
it only went to 64 and Hot 100.
Well, there's the reason.
Yeah.
I can't vote because I don't know either one of the songs. That's all.
What was the vote yesterday, Tim, by the way? Do we know?
You tied. It was a tie.
tied.
Yeah.
Okay.
I meant to tell you that yesterday. You tied.
So you're talking about toys, but first I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I'm going to be quick so you can get other callers in because it's been very hard to get in this morning. From 1966 to 1970, 5-year span, there has only been one Frenchman to hit #1 on the Billboard charts. Who is it? A 5-year span, only one Frenchman to hit #1 on the Billboard charts. And the other musical-related question was in 1970, this act had more #1 hits than any other act. 4 of them. Who are they? Now, toys, is this what you're calling your favorite toy or your least favorite toy?
What was your favorite toy, Moose?
Oh, it had to be my car set. I've mentioned this before. Fast Eddie, you know what I mean, right?
Yep.
The Aurora racetrack.
Oh, that's an awesome toy. That's a good choice.
Actually, it wasn't a toy. It was a hobby. The thing was, you took care of it. Anybody got near that set that had their hands broken.
Now, those are the slot cars, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Well, and I wanted to talk about slot cars because there was a whole generation of slot cars that were much bigger and more expensive before that.
Small.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the ones you're talking about. The Aurora ones were small, but
It was
they
mass-produced.
But they were actually slot car tracks that the public could go to.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You brought your own car, and I remember there was one in Mendon, and I really meant to talk about this last week, but there was a guy in Mendon. His name was Ron Bethel, who had a reel. It was gorgeous. It was all hardwood. It was curved and laid out, and it was I think it was probably 15, 20 feet long, and it went in a kind of a oblong circle. But you put these the slot cars back. The one I'm talking about were like 10, 12 inches long, maybe.
Yeah.
It was
not
just
the Aurora ones. They were
no. The Aurora ones were smaller on plastic tracks.
3 inches, maybe 2 or 3
But
inches.
the Aurora was a real cool set. Ideal had a set, Aurora had a set, but I think Aurora invented the slot car for mass production.
You put the tracks together yourself.
Thunderjets.
Any kind of track you wanted. It was. I mean, to design any track you wanted. You know, use your imagination and create
Yeah.
a track where you would have a trouble curve, or a squeeze track, or something, of course, with a couple of decker tracks.
Yeah.
You have 2 decks high with bridge mounts underneath. It was great. It was
It
great.
was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I think Dave A. had shared one with me, the track that went up the wall and came back down slot cars. And I think that was Ideal or Tyco. I can't remember which one, but it was very, very cool.
Well, this how popular it was, and I'll let you go to the next caller for sure, is that when I had purchased it the first time, my nephews and nieces were living right on the side of my house, so they'd come over at night just to watch the track, just to watch it, because this particular racetrack, Tim, Gary, and Fast Eddie, these cars had lights.
Oh, yeah. So you had the deluxe set.
God, these things are so cool. A 3-inch car that had headlights. Yikes! Flying around the track.
So I actually went online because I wanted to buy my grandkids a racetrack, a slot car racetrack, and everyone I found online got horrible reviews. They said it's just junk. It lasts one race or something like that. I said, I'm not going to bother.
Right?
Yeah,
They don't make that they don't make them like they used to.
they don't, Moose.
Yeah, I know.
You got to get Hot
All right,
Wheels.
guys,
Hot Wheels
thanks for
couldn't.
They have Hot Wheels.
They were foolproof. So
See if you can repeat that question. The only Frenchman to have a #1 hit in the Billboard charts.
was it Maurice Chevalier?
New, from 1966 to 1970, and the act that had 4 #1 hits in the year 1970.
And it was a man.
Frenchman, he said.
You said Frenchman, so
That's correct.
It's a man. Okay, so it wasn't Claudine Langer. So
Inspector Caluso.
Not to be confused. Yeah. No, gonna leave it out there and maybe give you the answer at the end of the show. I want to get somebody else for
okay,
another call.
yeah, we got.
Right.
Thanks, Moose.
We're real late for a break. We'll be right back.
ON Radio.
Every once in a while, you meet a businessman that you just can't wait to do business with. Steve Peluso of Peluso Precision Automotive at 93 Blackstone Street in Mendon, Mass. is such a man. He specializes in mechanical repairs of vintage and classic cars. And if you don't have one, you'll want to have one just to share the experience with Steve. Maybe you had one in the past, never had a resource like Peluso Precision Automotive to keep it running and chase down parts for you, but now you do. Stop in and see Steve, and Steve will steer you in the right direction. Call Peluso Precision Automotive at 508-478-8900. That's 508-478-8900.
Did you know you can shop local this holiday season?
And ski and ride free till December 24th.
Shop at Mountainside Ski and Ride at Wachusett Mountain.
Spend $100 or more and get a free lift ticket good through Christmas Eve.
Located in the Wachusett Beach Lodge, Mountainside guarantees lowest prices.
Check us out on the web at wachusett.com.
This is Robert Stewart, President of Woonsocket Teachers Guild. In this holiday season, I would like to invite you to join with the teachers of Woonsocket to make a difference by supporting the Milk Fund. The Milk Fund provides milk vouchers to needy Woonsocket families throughout the year. Woonsocket Teachers Guild has been a steady contributor to the Milk Fund for over 30 years. Please join us and donate to this worthy cause. On behalf of the Woonsocket Teachers Guild, I'd like to say thanks for supporting Woonsocket Public Schools, and I want you to know that Woonsocket educators are proud of our roles in helping your children reach their goals.
This ON AM and FM forecast is being sponsored by The Beef Barn, with 2 locations, Pulaski Boulevard in Bellingham, and the new location in North Smithfield at 200 Industrial Drive. Increasing clouds today with a high near 40 degrees and a diminished west wind up to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies, overnight low of 21. Friday's weather, sunshine and 32 with a breeze from the west. Saturday, sunshine and 34. Sunday, partly sunny skies with a high of 37 and calm wind. Monday, 40% chance of snow in the morning, then a chance of rain during the day. Mostly cloudy skies, high of 45 eventually. Monday night, chance of rain is 40%, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 36. Tuesday, 60% chance of rain likely, mostly cloudy and 55 degrees. Tuesday night, 60% chance of rain continuing, mostly cloudy and 35. And on Wednesday, it'll be a mostly sunny day with a high of 45.
All right. I'm sorry, didn't put the mics on there. So we used to have on rainy days and recess when I was in 5th grade, we used to be able to bring toys in, and one of the toys I had, which I really loved, was a plastic car that when it hit a wall, it would blow up into like half a dozen different pieces.
Was it a ripcord that you pulled the cord out?
No. It was like a friction toy.
Okay.
It was red too, right? It was red.
I don't.
You popped the top on the whole fenders.
They might have been different colors. I don't remember. I think the one I had was like a black Model A or something, they were just fun. I mean, they would blow up on you, and then you put them back together again and do it again.
Yeah.
So I don't know which call was first. I'm taking this one. Good morning. To my speaking.
It's Rob from Salem.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Rob.
Yes. Yes, Tim.
Oh no, I said hi, Rob.
Oh, well. I would go with the first song, Gary.
That's Gary's song, Toy Train.
Yep.
Toy Train, yeah. That was better than was it the Temptations?
4 Seasons.
4 Seasons.
I shouldn't even say Gary's song because, in all honesty, neither one of these guys really picked a song. We just kind of picked 2 songs out of the hat. So, Eddie, you have no offense, but you didn't really pick a bad song.
No, I don't think it's as bad as song.
No, it's not bad.
It's a 4 Seasons song.
Yeah, it's not one of their best though.
Well, didn't Alice Cooper do Toys in the Attic?
That was Aerosmith.
Aerosmith. Okay. I remember having Slime as a kid. I'm a while younger than you guys.
Slime?
It was in a green
Yep.
box.
Yeah, it was in a green trash can.
Yeah. And boy, that stuff would get everywhere.
Yep.
It would get everywhere. But it was a lot of fun doing different things with it.
So, do you want to hear something funny, Rob? They actually repurpose Slime now, and they sell it for a car cleaner that you can put inside your car in
I
the
have
little
some in my truck.
crevices, and it gets all the junk out.
Gets all the dust out.
Yeah. It's actually slime.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the same thing really.
It's slime. Yeah.
I have some.
You have to figure that happened by accident.
I have not used it yet.
Yeah.
Because I said, well, how many times can you use this stuff before it,
Then you give it to a kid. But Sandy bought some.
Bury it in Pawtucket.
Pawtucket. Sandy bought some, and I found it in her car. I said, and I opened it, and it's branded as a car cleaner, and I said, this is slime.
Yep.
And you have to assume that if they found this by accident when some kid had it in a car as slime and dropped it on the father's or mother's car and it cleaned it, and they said, hey, we got an idea.
Yeah. I also had Stretch Armstrong.
Stretch Armstrong. We just talked about that.
What was interesting was when he finally broke and all the jelly would come out.
Yeah, it was corn syrup was inside of him. Yep.
Yeah, and then I as a little kid, I had a pedal car. I remember the.
Oh yeah, those are worth some money if you can find a good one and restore it.
Yeah, I wish I had that today. But I think I told you last week, my nephew has my original toy box. It was made out of red leather, and I think his daughters have it now.
I have a picture of me. It has to be the around 57 or 8. I'm on a toy tractor, and the tractor's name was Tractone, and I've never been able to find one of these ever. I've looked and looked and looked. I'd love to be able to buy one, but I've never seen one. Tractone.
No, never heard of it.
It's a weird name for a toy, pedal tractor, but I vaguely remember having a tricycle. Tricycle, and of course the little red wagons.
Yeah. Red Flyer.
I remember I was a year older than my brother that's a year younger than me, and so I had my red wagon had gotten rusty, because I had it longer, and then he got one that was all shiny and new, but the nuts and bolts kept falling off of it, so I traded him for mine.
Fair trade.
Well, it was, because my bolts were all rusted on and they weren't coming loose.
Right.
And he didn't know how to reattach them, and I did. So I made this really cool trade for the shiny new little red wagon, and what was the name of him?
Red Flyer.
Radio Flyer.
Radio Flyer.
Thank you.
And when my parents found out about the trade, they made me give it back to them.
So it wasn't a fair trade.
Well,
it was a fair
they
trade in
didn't-
your
they
eyes, but
didn't
not your
think so.
parents'
Well,
eyes.
I think I took advantage of them a little bit. I probably
So
knew
the
what I
truth
was
is
doing.
coming out right now.
Yeah, I know.
Taking
I know.
advantage of a loose nut.
So
And I also had a Fonzie pinball machine.
Fonzie?
Fonzie pinball machine. That,
Hey.
that dates you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Fonzie was the big thing. I remember I had a leather jacket, and I wore it once. And
Is it real leather?
no, it was pleather.
Yeah.
I think my mother bought it at Marshall's. Yeah, it was real pleather.
Yeah, I remember the Fonzie T-shirts people used to wear.
Oh, Fonzie was huge
Yeah, it was a big thing back in the 70s.
until he jumped the
All
shark.
right, I will be listening, guys. Have a great day.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. To whom am I speaking?
It's Mr. Patience.
Yes. Thanks, Bobby.
I've been on hold since Moose. All right, a whole bunch of crap to talk about. Starting with the songs, I'm going with Roger Miller.
Okay.
I find it hard to believe no one's heard this song before.
No. Well, I haven't. I shouldn't say nobody, but nobody here had heard it.
I never heard it.
Well, people were calling in. I've never heard this before. It's like, where have you been?
I was sitting in here.
Okay. Your commonality is all these toys made by Kenner.
No. Light Bright and Inchworm were Hasbro. Mr. Machine was Ideal.
Oh, okay.
And Evil Knievel, I don't know if that was Kenner or Ideal. I don't remember. I'd have to look that up. But no.
Were they the first
were
toys
all
to have an
toys.
age range?
No.
All toys that were broke when they came out of the box.
No.
And Gary mentioned the little car that blew up into little pieces. I had one.
What was it?
And-
What was it called?
Oh God, I don't remember.
Crash.
So
Favorite toys?
I remember Smash 'em Dash'ems or Smash 'em Derby. That was a toy when I was a kid. So and those were it kind of followed after Demolition Derby. Had a ripcord, you
Yeah,
pull it out,
okay.
let them smash into each other. But
That could be what I'm thinking of. You mentioned slot cars. The town I grew up in Oklahoma, there was a building. I guess I don't want to call it a company, but there was a store that had a built-in huge blank racetrack, and you could buy your slot cars. You'd buy the running chassis, and then you would choose what body you wanted to put on it.
oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
And you put stuff on the tires to make them go fast.
Yep.
And it was like $1 an hour or something, back in the late, mid-late 60s. It was fun.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't that be fun? You're customizing your own car as a kid and putting it on the track and
Oh, yeah.
testing it. That's a great idea.
And it's probably long gone. And Louise mentioned Viewmasters. Had one of those, and I had the GF model.
Yep.
And now they have them. There's a company that will take your own photographs and put them on one of those little wheels that you can put in your Viewmaster.
Yeah, I just saw that somewhere the other day.
Yeah, it's on Facebook and
Yes.
online, and it's a little pricey, but when you have several thousand photographs to choose from, it's a moot point.
Yeah, you know what? We all have so many photographs now that we take with our phones, right? And we upload them to the cloud, and they sit there. And what are you going to do with all these photographs? I got photographs of stuff. I go, what is that? I'm going, I took a picture of that because I just wanted to, because I was going to the store and I
Nobody's
wanted
going
to
to have
remember.
these things.
No,
Your grandchildren
just-
are never going to have them.
No.
And
I'm an old school film aficionado, so
I
I have a 3-drawer filing cabinet full of photos.
Good, and that's the way it should be because that stuff people can pick up and hold and touch and look at.
Yeah. On my computer, I've lost track of how much I have on my computer. I have four or five thumb drives of photos.
And what are you going to do with them?
No idea.
Yeah.
Same thing with music. I have 4 or 5 thumb drives of music, and I have multiple folders of music on my computer. And I think eventually I'm going to go, you know what? Delete. I'm never going to have a chance to listen to any of this stuff.
Yeah, the music, it's funny, music now that's been digitized, it's just another way to charge you for it, in my opinion.
Napster.
Yeah.
Favorite toys growing up, I had the official Hot Wheels orange racetrack that you had to clip together.
Yep. which is still around.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
And I had
vividly going to W.T. Grant in Milford, going down the bottom of the stairs. You walked about 20 feet on the right-hand side, and there was the Hot Wheels display. I remember going there to get it, and it was just so exciting.
Yeah. Like I said,
my set. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say my set probably came to me used because Mom was a single mom growing up with 2 kids, and I never knew that. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And I had a.
I mean, you enjoyed it.
I did. I wish I still had the stuff. And I had a game called the Getaway Chase Game. And it was basically a city map that you unfolded. I think it maybe had some pop-up cardboard buildings. And you drove around in, vintage 30 cars and shot each other or whatever. It was a gangster-related thing, which, knowing my mom, I have no idea why she chose that. But probably because I like cars. And there was one other thing, but that train left the track. So I will let you guys go. You're late for leaving.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to take one more call. Very good.
All right.
Thank you, Bobby. Good morning. To who am I speaking?
Sorry that it's me.
All right, next call.
We're sorry it's you, too.
My brother, the Hammerhead, got an Eldon slot car racetrack set probably around 1970, and we use that a lot. As a matter of fact, you can buy a similar one on Amazon. It looks pretty much the same for under $50.
Yeah, but did you read the reviews?
No, it's probably not good.
It was horrible. I don't mind spending $50. I don't mind spending $100, but I want it to be quality.
Well, it's got 70% 5-star ratings, 12% 4, 7% 3, 3% 2, and 8% 1.
All right, so my theory is on Amazon, and when I read the reviews, if the 5 and the 4 have to total 80. If they total 80, they have my attention. Then I read. If they don't total at least 80%, I walk away.
2%.
All right.
You
know what?
That's a good way of looking at it.
I'm gonna have to look.
Good.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. Thank you.
Yeah, and it looks. It's got a starting gate. It says checkpoint, and I think something when it hits it and it registers. I don't know. It's a little bit different than mine. Not mine. It was his. But it looks very similar to the one we had.
What was it called?
It was made by Eldon.
Elvin Racetrack?
Yeah, Eldon Race Cars. Oh, that one isn't. I don't think that one is Eldon. Okay, here's one. Eldon 1962 race car set with 2 slot cars.
Okay.
And maybe this is what it is. It's kind of like a figure 8. Eldon Road Race. Yeah.
All right.
I'm looking on eBay right now.
Oh, on eBay. I thought you said on Amazon. I'm sorry.
The other one was on Amazon. Because I Googled Eldon, and that came up, but this is Eldon Road Race, and this must be it. They want $70 the best offer, it's $25 ship.
All right. Yeah, that's used.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I didn't even think of looking on eBay.
It might be better.
It might be. Yeah, that's
sure
actually a valid point.
Yeah, it's like when people come in and they want me to put new wheel bearings in their car, in their vintage car, and I go, your wheel bearings are fine. It's better than what I'm going to replace. We know why.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
China.
Thank you.
China.
Goodbye.
Bye.
China. All right. This is really the last call. Good morning. To who am I speaking?
Brady. It's been a while.
Yeah.
A old-time train. Old toy train. That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay.
I like the Four Seasons, but I've never heard that song before, but I like that one. My wife likes it too, so you get 2 for 1.
Oh, okay.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you. All right, and that'll do it. Nobody mentioned Nerf.
Well, Nerf is a newer. But Nerf was introduced by Kenner. Actually, Dave A. brought up Nerf a couple of weeks ago.
Nerf goes back to at least the
70s.
70s.
Yeah, it was actually a cereal promotion, I think Dave had said. It was you send in so many box tops and you got a Nerf ball. But that was invented by a team from NASA, I believe, the foam.
I remember the Nerf football.
The football, yep. Nerf blasters, but the first ball was the Nerf ball that you could play inside, and that was the big thing with it.
With those toys that used to shoot ping pong balls and Nerf things, those were we would just wreak havoc on the Christmas tree with those things.
Yeah.
That was not a good thing. You got rid of the cat during the Christmas season, but
we never had a cat.
No. They love playing with the Christmas ornaments. But anyway, all right. Hey, we'll continue this in some sort of fashion next week. And in the meantime, have a great weekend. And we'll be here tomorrow with is Marie coming tomorrow? Marie and Eddie and Lynn and Steve and yours truly. See you tomorrow. Bye.